All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to episode 1 of the Curtain Call podcast. It is your host with the most, Irish Neep, a.k.a. the leader of the Bret Hart is Overrated fan club. Hashtag Owen was the superior heart. I am joined, as always, by my co-host, JR. What's going on, my brother? Throw it up. Throw it up.
What's going on? Too sweet, me baby. There you go. What's going on, everybody? We are excited to get this podcast up and running. We hope you guys enjoy it. We got a good topic today, Jordan.
Yep. So like I said, this is episode 1, so we're starting with the good one. It's going to be the good, the bad, and the ugly of AEW and WWE. But I think, big news today, so I don't think we can start without mentioning this. We need to give a shout out to John Moxley. If you don't know, he's checking himself into a rehabilitation center for alcohol. So our thoughts and prayers are with his family and him, and hopefully he has a good recovery and he can come back soon. Can't wait to hear that wild thing going through the arena again, man. And just everyone be safe out there. And like I said, our thoughts are with Moxley. Episode 1, the good, the bad, the ugly, AEW, WWE. We're going to start with AEW. JR, why don't you start us off, man?
AEW. Let me tell you, first of all, before we go any further, I have to say I'm a huge AEW fan. I love AEW. And I'm a huge WWE fan. There's some notion that we can't be both an AEW and a WWE fan. I am a wrestling fan. I'm a wrestling fan. And Jordan, just like you, we are multi-wrestling company fans. So it's not that we're jumping down AEW's throat or we're bashing or hating on them, like they say, or hating on WWE. This is our take. Everybody's going to have their different opinions, but this is our take. That being said, I like wrestling simple, Jordan. I get confused. Who are the baby faces? Who are the heels? I don't get it. It's not like I understand back in the Attitude Era, you didn't know what Stone Cold you were going to get. He was either going to come down and stun all the heels and stun the baby faces. But in AEW, they've taken it to the extreme because it's like week after week, it changes. So real quick, Jordan, before you give me your thought on this, tell me something. Give me one wrestler from back in when you were younger that you didn't like, that was a heel.
Ooh. Back then or now? Back then or now? Because there's some... Oh, JBL, dog. JBL.
Okay. And why? Because JBL did things to make you hate him.
Yeah, right.
I'm a wrestling god. I couldn't stand that. I couldn't stand it, right?
Yeah.
So if Jericho was bad, I'm not talking about the Jericho that's now fighting against these MMA guys. I'm talking about Jericho when he was with the group first started. How can I hate somebody that I'm singing his theme music to like crazy when he's coming to the ring?
Right.
A true heel, I think there's only a few, Jordan. There's a few. MJF, a true heel.
One of the last good ones.
I get confused with AEW's going about who's a heel, who's a babyface. Talk to me, Jordan. What's your thoughts, man?
Yeah, no, man. I'm feeling you on that. Like, you know what that reminds me a lot of is when people would say, you suck to Kurt Angle, and he would freak out on him. He'd come out with the mic and like, shut up, everyone, and he would like go to the back and be like, I'm not coming out. It was kind of like that. Like, he shouldn't, if he's a heel, he shouldn't want the people to sing his theme. I'm definitely with you on that. Like, it makes no sense. Like, he should be hating that. He shouldn't want, like MJF, no matter what town he's in, he's hating on that crowd no matter what's happening.
Absolutely. Even if he's in his own city, he'll hate on the city. And it's crazy because AEW even stops the music for you to sing along.
Yeah.
Judith's on my mind. How can I hate someone that does that? So I get confused with the heels and the baby faces. But on the flip side, I'm not excluding WWE from this now. Although WWE does a better job in telling you who are the heel and baby faces. The one exception, Becky Lynch. I can't boo her because she just had a baby. She got herself back into an amazing shape, came back and won the title. Remind me why I'm supposed to hate Becky Lynch? So that's the one person that I exclude from the WWE list, but AEW, man, it's confusion between heels and baby faces. Somebody that's just starting off watching wrestling, and they're having to watch AEW. It's going to be hard for them to decide, well, who's the bad guy, who's the good guy.
Yeah, I'm with you. And the thing is AEW likes to pride themselves. They like to pride themselves, but then also the consensus among the fans is that's for the hardcore fan, right? But you can only go off the hardcore fan for so long. You need to bring in a new audience and a new crowd. Right. And you're right. How are you going to do that when you turn it on? And they're kind of hyping this guy to be a bad guy, but the crowd's smiling and singing his music. Exactly. I get what you mean. If you flick on the channel right then and there, you don't know what side you're going to be on. You said, oh, the announcers say I'm supposed to hate this guy, but I see the crowd shots and they're smiling and singing. It looks like they're at a concert.
Exactly.
So I'm with you. I'm 100% with you.
And it's almost to finish on the first one. It's almost like when you see Tony Khan, when he was showing up in Impact, what kind of Tony Khan were we getting? We were going to heel Tony Khan. He was very obnoxious, very snobby. Yeah, I'm rich. I can put a commercial on Impact TV and things and that. Yeah. But when you hear him or he says something on AEW, it's a completely different guy, a guy that you want to go hang out with. So, heels and baby faces, big question mark, in my opinion. What you got on your first list?
Yeah, so, that's a big one, man. I pretty much agree with all the points you're making. Another one, too, is I don't know if you remember seeing, I forget where it was, but Chris Jericho had an interview right when he left and was at AEW. And one of the main things he said is this is not a company for released WWE people to sign to. Huh. Yeah, all right, whatever, man. Yeah, you look at all their talent, man.
They need to play that interview back to him.
Yeah. I've been seeing that trending the last few days and weeks. And yeah, like I get that a lot of the people coming from WWE might have been wasted there. Like a lot of good talent got cut from WWE, Bray Wyatt being one of them. Yeah, man. You need that homegrown talent as well, and they have some guys there that are somewhat homegrown. A lot of people they signed were pretty big in Ring of Honor, or now that they're doing stuff with New Japan guys and all that. But I think they really need to start bringing in a lot more homegrown talent, because the Japan guys are cool to see. Now that they're doing like MLW, they got some lucha guys coming. That's all cool, but like, I don't know. There's something about watching a talent go from like being a jobber to being like a big star. Like that's what was so cool about the early days of NXT. You watch the early days of NXT and you're like, man, who are these guys? But then as the years progress, you watch them and watch them and watch them. And then next thing you know, they're Roman Reigns and they're at the top of the show. Absolutely. So I just feel like they need to spend more time on the homegrown talent and start building more people. And that's one thing I think they're suffering a little bit with right there.
Well, my guy, let me tell you how right 100% you are. That was the last one on my list. Right there, former WWE stars. Yep. Jordan, I got an issue with this. This isn't WCW 1997, man. Yeah. We're not doing this. We're not bringing all these former WWE stars to WCW Wednesday Night Thunder or Thursday Night Thunder, whatever it was. All 4,500 members of the NWO were all former WWE guys. We're not doing this.
Yeah, look, man.
AEW's greatest show was the first one, in my opinion. Why? Because you had Bully Ray, Rey Mysterio, Chris Jericho were the only, and Chris Jericho was at the end. There was only 3 guys that you can actually say, hey, those used to be in the WWE. Why? Because there were so many different people that we didn't see or you didn't know of, or you followed them on the indies because they were from your city and you were so excited when they got that first. And that's the problem. I think that they have a lack of star power. And they're relying on former WWE people that got over. What did Chris Jericho say one time on Busted Open Radio? He said, yes, we have the Kenny Omegas, we have the Young Bucks, but and we have Hangman Adam Page, but now they needed someone to bring in the audience, and that's where I came in. He was talking about himself, so if he's admitting to it, and if AEW fans, not all of us, because I consider myself a fan, we're very fickle. You like that? Yeah. We're very, because here it is. We cheered for Aleister Black, and we wanted him to, and then they released him, and then he shows up as Malachi as a heel. And the reason why we cheer him is not because the reason why we don't boo him is because we're cheering for him because we know that he was a good wrestler that wasn't used, and now he's on our side. Yeah. So let's cheer for him as he kicks Cody Rhodes and Arn Anderson. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So I honestly believe that their lack of star power, them doing their homegrown, and they got some good guys. They got some really good young talent that is, man, they are good. May have a weird gimmick, but they really are good. But I think that they're focusing too much on the how many AEW champions have we had, Jordan?
Oh, that's a good question, man.
Jericho was the first one.
Yeah.
Moxley was the second one.
Moxley.
And now we have Kenny Omega. There's something wrong here where two of the top guys that held the title first are former WWE wrestlers. There's an issue there.
Yeah, I mean, not even looking at champions either. I mean, look at another guy getting so much screen time is Sting. I mean, how many times you turn on and Sting's on your TV? I mean, and I like Sting, don't get me wrong, man. I'm a huge Stinger fan, but you're right. The top guys you always see are Moxley, Jericho, Sting, and I said they got Omega, but I mean 3 or 4 right there. I mean, those are old WWE, WCW guys.
And if you look at what they're doing with the TNT title, I mean, heck, Cody had it, then Brody had it, and then Rusev had it. They had WWE guys holding the title. The only one that they didn't do that to right away was the tag division, but who had it for a while? FTR. It is what it is. They're not doing it in the women's division, but you're right, man. Their lack of homegrown talent or not pushing their homegrown talent, I think eventually could hurt them. It could hurt them.
Well, because I mean, look at it now, right? I mean, this is obviously a unique situation with Moxley going to rehab. Say Moxley goes to rehab for a while. Say Sting gets really injured or something like that. That's 2 of your 4 major guys that you're trying to push. Yeah, gone. Moxley's in rehab. Say Sting gets injured or something. That cuts off so much of your TV time. I mean, look how much TV time Moxley was getting. Look how much TV time Sting's getting. If anything happens, though, and we know Sting's pretty injury prone after the Seth Rollins stuff, and all that. I mean, you gotta have some depth at the top of the card. Not necessarily champs, but you gotta have some depth that's not old people, and I mean that in the nicest way possible for Sting. But like, you gotta have some people that aren't old or that we've seen for years and years and years. You gotta have some fresh people coming in there. And I think, and I know we're all familiar with Adam Page, and, I'm pretty sure that he's going to be getting the title here somewhat soon, I would hope. And I think that's where they're going with this. And we've, he's not necessarily the most homegrown talent in the world, but it will be a nice change of pace, especially because he was gone for so long and stuff like that. But, yeah, man, I mean, it's all homegrown talent, man. That's what it is. It just comes down to that.
I mean, unfortunately, when I think of AEW's top stars, I got Kenny Omega, and you tell me if I'm wrong or not right now. I got Kenny Omega, Chris Jericho, Jon Moxley, Daniel Bryan, Bryan Danielson, and CM Punk.
Yeah. How many of those were in the WWE? How many? Yeah. I mean, the honeymoon phase on Punk is going to wear off very quickly. He's not going to be getting the same pop. Hey, welcome back. Congratulations. That's going to wear off, man. That's going to wear off. And I get Bryan Danielson's cool because everyone was such a huge fan of him on the indies before he signed. But I feel like that's going to wear off at some point too. I feel like the honeymoon phase on those two guys are coming up fairly quickly.
It happened with Moxley. When he lost the title, we didn't. Yeah, he floated around the mid card for a while.
Yeah.
So
right.
Well, here's my next one, and I can't believe we were trying to keep this real short, man. Ladies and gentlemen, we hope you're enjoying this because we're already 17 minutes in and we're having a great time. But this is one that's gonna cause a spark, and it's their women's division.
Ooh, it's let me know how you're feeling, man. I gotta hold this one in for a minute. Let me know how you're feeling. I gotta.
Okay.
Yeah. Why don't you go ahead? Go ahead.
Britt Baker is amazing.
Sure.
Abaddon is a crazy character that I weirdly like.
Sure. I'm getting on board with it.
There is nothing else in the AEW women's division that I can tell you.
Zero.
I can't even mention 5 women.
Yeah. Right.
And it's not hating. I'm sorry. But
yeah, it's severely lacking. Severely.
When they're defending the 24 title on Monday Night Raw, I get up and I go get something to drink. When the women's match on AEW comes on, I do the same thing. I'm sorry.
Certified bathroom break. Certified.
You're guaranteed. You're not going to miss anything. Nope. I think that Nyla Rose is a beast. But after watching her matches, it's the same match that she has. Yeah. She doesn't change up her style. It's like watching Nia Jax. It's the same style. You're going to get the same move set, and it's no longer their women's division does not do me. It doesn't do anything for me.
And they've fumbled it, man. They really have, because like we were talking with homegrown talent, women's division, they have some homegrown talent in there, but they've just fumbled it in the fact that how they've built it up. They haven't built it up. How long has AEW been around? Weekly shows? Over a year, right?
Yeah.
But, they have, I mean, the women's division, besides Britt Baker, is in the same spot it was a year ago, in my opinion. I mean, but I don't know. I mean, they have a roster, they have a women's roster, and they have arguably some talent, but they don't make you care about it. They don't. There's nothing that grabs your attention besides Britt Baker.
And you know what, Jordan? And first of all, the title doesn't do it any help neither. No. The title, I got belt buckles that are bigger than that. And everybody knocks on WWE's titles. It's just a big W. And I understand that. But you know what? Whenever they send their title, when kids go to the store, they see the title and they want the title. You either get the blue one or the black one. It's advertised for the kids. And then when a team wins a championship, what do they send them? They send them a title belt, and it has a W on it. Everybody knows that this is WWE.
Yep.
Their title doesn't do anything for them. It's super small, and it just I don't know. It doesn't. I feel bad because Britt Baker and Thunder Rosa probably had arguably one of the greatest matches in AEW. Period. Yep. But it shouldn't come down to just Thunder Rosa and Britt Baker. They're not doing anything else with anyone else. They don't have a lot of titles to choose from anyway. And there is a large amount of these women wrestlers that I don't know. I don't. It doesn't do anything for me, man.
Yeah, and it doesn't necessarily help with the whole rumor and all that about Charlotte, about wanting to join her husband and possibly her father in AEW, because it goes back to what we were saying about the males. Is it's just another WWE, and the honeymoon phase on Charlotte coming over is going to end at some point, and you're stuck right back where you were.
Yeah, but Jordan, tell me, what sense would it make for Charlotte to go?
I don't know.
Who's she going to fight?
Yeah, like you said, you got one match with Britt Baker. That's it.
That's it. You get a match with Thunder Rosa, but what else are you gonna? She'll be tired of it in no time. It isn't like Tessa Blanchard's coming knocking at the door. Huh? We already know where she's going.
Yeah,
she already signed. So I think she's, if it's doing it. Of course, we're not there We don't know. It could be all whatever. I just saw a video of her and Becky Lynch goofing off and talking about, or when your best friend turns on you, and they looked at each other and they smiled and laughed.
I saw that. Yeah.
You know? But one thing I do know is she could be talking out of frustration. I want to go with Andrade. I want to go with my pops. That's all fine and dandy. Rick knows that if WWE called him up tonight, he'll be at Raw next week, because that's what he does. He said it in interviews. He dropped whatever he's doing and run back to WWE. I think she might be talking out of frustration. There isn't no matches there for her. There is no matches. Are you trying to tell me that? So what's the Asian girl's name? The first champion that she was very thin. Was it Soho? Is it?
Oh yeah.
Okay. Are you trying to tell me that she's going to beat Charlotte?
Yeah, nah. And now they got definitely not.
Not.
Yeah, I mean, I don't. Yeah, but like I said, just getting back to the point, the women's division is it's a mess, man. It's a mess, and it's not that complicated either. Like, it's not like you gotta. There's just more talent than two people. Like, there's just more talent, and you might not. The storylines might be a little bland to try to build up some new people, but you got to go through that to build those people up. You know, it might not always be the most exciting story or maybe even the most exciting match, but you got to give other people TV time. You got to give them storylines, because no matter how you push people, and we learned this with Daniel Bryan back in the day, no matter how you push people, the crowd's going to hate or like who they want regardless. Like, it doesn't matter how you push people, but you gotta put people on TV. You got to put them in stories. All of them aren't going to hit, but you got to get more people out there than just two people.
Absolutely. Jordan, I have one last one, but I want you to give me one first before I give you my last one.
Let's hear it.
Oh, okay. Well, then I'm going right in and check this out. The overabundance of stables.
Ooh.
The other day I looked at the AEW roster. Sure. We're not talking about the women right now. We're talking about the men. Everybody is connected to a stable in one way.
Yeah, and it definitely doesn't help with the UFC people coming over now.
Doesn't. It doesn't. I understand that New Japan does that a lot, but it works for them.
Sure.
It worked. They were built. The foundation of New Japan was built like that. Everybody that comes into AEW is a stable. It's a stable. It's part of a stable. They go together. The last few signees, they aren't linked to any stables. They're trying to steer them away from that, but there's too many stables, too many. Yeah. And I think that if you create too many stables, it could hurt the product. It could vary, because now you're limiting yourself on which wrestlers can face each other. Because if you have a couple stables that are that get all the heat, you're missing out on potential fights between the groups because they're both heels. But then it goes back to what we were talking about earlier. Baby faces or heels, it's almost non-existence in there.
Yeah. Yeah, and you're right. I mean, it does. Yeah, everyone being in a faction does limit potential matchups, because the whole destruction of a group or turning on each other in a group, that only works so often. You can't have that. You can't have that story every month. You know, that's not realistic to have a group break up like every month or something. So yeah, you're right. It limits potential singles matches or whatever else. But yeah, I mean, like I said, and the whole UFC thing, I could see if they were going to bring in a few singles people, but a whole faction just clutters everything, man.
So, I mean, Jordan, if you look at the match breakdowns, let's say we have 8 matches on a card, 8 singles matches, okay? And in every singles match that there will be, each person belongs to a stable. How many run-ins are you going to have during those 8 matches?
Right.
You're handcuffing yourself on what you can do.
Yeah. Yeah, man, I'm with you. I'm 100% with you, man. Like I said, as much as we like to say AEW is doing a good thing, and they are. I mean, it's an exciting product. Don't get me wrong, and I think they're definitely putting on overall the better weekly product. As far as the war with WWE. I do think they're putting on a better weekly product overall. But yeah, it's ridiculous to try and think they don't have some major flaws.
Absolutely. Well, look, we hope that you guys enjoyed this. Make sure that you check out part 2 of this video. We are going to be talking about the same thing, except the WWE side. We are not going to exclude them. Why? Because you got to get from both sides. Jordan and I are huge fans of AEW. We're also fans of WWE. So we're gonna tell you the way it is. Jordan, we're telling you the way it is. We're not holding anything 100%. Back.
Yeah, and like I said, AEW is still putting on the better product, I think, and they have their flaws. But yeah, we're gonna bury WWE a little bit because they have some major flaws as well. So yeah, that'll be in part 2. We were hoping to just do 2 15-minute segments, but when we get on a roll, man, we're talking. So yeah, so part two will be WWE. But yeah, let us know what you think. If you're listening on Spotify, we'll have a Q&A up about your thoughts. You can answer under that. If you're watching on YouTube, just post down below. But yeah, anything else you want to say, my man, before we wrap up the AEW portion?
Absolutely, man. You can also hear us on Anchor. You can hear us on Spotify. If you're on YouTube watching this, please like, subscribe, click that notification bell so we can make sure that you get all of the stuff that we posting. We're going to be doing these videos. We're going to be doing Fast Counts videos. Fast Count is where we talk about a topic for just a couple minutes and get your reaction on it. So we're going to have a great, great time. And as always, man, my name is JR, and that's my tag team partner, Jordan. Jordan, we did it, baby. We got the first one done.
First one, man. Throw it up. Throw it up. First one, man.
And remember, guys, you know how we do it here. We always, always kick out at 2. I'll see you guys.
Peace, everybody. See ya. Boom.